we're going to hear from one person who is helping us to understand health, wellness, and the importance of happiness. And that is Dr. Tim Lau, Associate Professor of Psychiatry at U of Ottawa and Director of the Joy at Work for the Department of Psychiatry. Thank you, Dr. Lau, for joining me today.
My pleasure. It's so much fun to be back with you.
Yeah, well, this is a very important topic. And for once, I kind of really want to focus more on the positive and what we can do and not be so, grim and fearful about what perhaps the future may hold. So let's dive right in. So how does, in general, our health and wellness impact our daily function, in your opinion?
Well, I think both at work and at home, our levels of happiness are connected to our health. Because I think health is much more than the absence of disease. And we do have a tendency to focus on disease and what's broken. But part of this initiative that we started in our department is to try to focus on flourishing and on positive things. Because, I think both for our patients to whom we want to get them, not just not having symptoms anymore, but also living a full life, we also want the same for ourselves. Right. And they're different things. Like focusing on not having, say, a pathology is very different. So focusing on what's broken is very different than trying to build up the best things in life.
I agree 100%. So how does happiness factor into our health and wellness? Sometimes I find if I'm very stressed out or there's been perhaps like a negative news conference and I'm in the news, so I'm always watching the news, but I've perhaps watched too much news one day and there might have been a press conference that has kind of set me off. I feel that everybody around me, my mood goes down and everybody around me is sort of brought into this toxic environment. And I can feel that. First of all, am I alone? Am I the only one? And number two is, how does happiness really impact how we behave?
Well, happiness largely is an internal thing. And a lot of things that happen outside of us, like circumstances and things in the news, they can change how we feel. But part of it is because of how we process it or how we let it affect us. The researcher and Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman once described, at least with our brain wiring, that negative things tend to stick to us like Velcro, and positive things tend to bounce off us like Teflon. So, in general, of a ratio of 3-1, and in marriage, probably 5-1.
Oh, really? Okay, good to know.
So you need 5 positive things for every negative thing to balance out. So,
okay.
So I think the thing is to realize that, research shows that only about 10% of our happiness depends on the circumstances. The rest is internal. And you only have to look at people that win lotteries as opposed to people that break their necks. There is actually no difference after a year. Or gold medalists and silver medalists. They did a study in 2013. It was a Scientific American. There was a study that was replicated in the summer of this past year, showed the same thing. People who win bronze medals are happier than people that win silver medals. And a lot of that has to do with the way we process it. It's what's called the counterfactual narrative. In our heads, we think a lot of things, and it's based on how we process the information. So the bronze medalist is thinking, I could have come fourth, and the silver medalist is thinking, I could have won gold.